Okay, so right now I'm waiting to see what the decision is going to be on the KBF tournament. I plan on fishing the two trail series and the Temptational. I qualified for the Temptational this year, and it's going to be rough. So here's what I have for pre-fishing. There are several lakes on the chain. There's some that I know that aren't going to be very good. I mean, you might be able to get some bites on them, but I'm not going to rely on them. And here's why: they're working on the shoal up in Shingle Creek and the shoal right at the mouth of the canal between Toho and Cypress. So has ended up happening is they've got most of the water dammed up north, up in Toho, East Lake, and West Lake. And it's not flowing like it normally would be. So all the lakes south of Toho are lower than normal, with the exception of maybe Rosalie, which is off to the side of Kissimmee. So I went and pre-fished areas on Kissimmee, and the fish that I would normally find aren't there. I know that some people are having success, but they're fishing other areas. And I got to fish what I know, and I didn't have enough time to go and like completely explore the chain, but I know that some lakes just aren't going to produce right now. At least not produce the numbers that I would want. So we're looking at fishing, on the northern end and maybe catching some fish. I've got some fish offshore, but here's the problem, right? So the ABA is going to be fishing a tournament on Toho, and so is Strike King's Big Bass. And right now, I think both of them, well, at least the ABA or at least the BFL up on the Harris chain, has canceled the tournaments due to a wind advisory tomorrow. We are occasionally going to get gusts over 40 miles an hour, and it should be sustained winds around 20. So depending on what they do, the KBF may cancel. I don't know. We're going to find out. I'm still waiting to hear. If not, I've decided where I'm going to go. I'm going to go to a spot that I fished last year during this time. It should be okay. I'm going to be in the brunt of the wind, but I shouldn't be too far away from shore. All my offshore stuff tomorrow is just a no-go. It's a safety issue. There's no way I can be out there in 3 or 4 foot wake in that heavy wind trying to throw a jerk bait and stuff like that. It's not going to work. So tomorrow, we just want to get a limit. Sunday's the day I think that it is won or lost. So tomorrow, try to get a limit. I was out there at a spot today, and I had 5 bites in about 30 minutes. I didn't hook any. I had my bait on. I had the hook buried in the bait so that they couldn't get hooked, and a couple of them just didn't want to let go, and I really wanted to set the hook. But here's what I had the other day in one of my offshore spots. So take a look at this.
Welcome back to another cold front day. It's a different day. I'm not out of Kissimmee anymore. I'm trying a different lake. Post frontal conditions now. It's going to be cold. Going to be sunny for the most part. Partly cloudy this morning. Sun should kick in once this haze and stuff burns off. But oh my gosh, it is cold for Florida. It's like, I think maybe high 40s right now with 10-mile-an-hour winds. This just sucks. But it's my second to last day of practice. We're gonna get out here, and what I'm looking for right now is I want to get on some grass offshore, because my buddy seems to think that that's where the fish are going to be at, and then we'll push back into stuff like this and see if we can't get any fish to come out of here. Ideally you would think they would hang up in the cover a little bit more to stay warm, but if we can find some offshore hydrilla, they might still be there. I haven't heard a lot of people catching spawners right now, so with the cold fronts kind of coming in and off in this irregular pattern, it might be pushing them off and on, off and on. So hopefully the fish are kind of off, but with this post front coming in, they're willing to feed. And if that's the case, if that holds till Saturday, that'll be a good pattern to play, because a lot of people I think will be up in this fishing. And don't get me wrong, people are going to catch stuff up here. They're going to. But when I was out the other day, the numbers were offshore. We got to try to find some size. So I got one spot to take a look at up here, and then one more day on Wednesday to kind of figure it out. And I hope I have to slow down the motor a little bit, because I don't want. The wind is in my face and I don't want that water hitting me. See if you can't get something figured out. First cast, I didn't have my camera on. And that's a good sign. I'm on offshore grass right now. Hopefully this pattern will hold, because they were here last year at this time. right, dude. Little guy, but he's healthy. So, when it's this cold and it's windy like this, even here in Florida with all the grass we got, if you can find an open spot like this, right now I'm sitting over, I'm in, whoop, and we're gonna sit, I'm in about 6 foot of water, and there's probably a good 1.5 feet of grass underneath. Grass. So the goal for today and Wednesday is to kind of figure out if I can try to figure out where the big ones are, if I can, if they're still out here, because that's definitely a male. He's pre-spawn. Nice little chunk. Are the big girls still out? Are they pushed up? My buddy said he only saw one nest and it was vacant, and it was a new one. See what I'm sitting over. So here's, it looks really wavy, but there's the bottom, just about 5.5, 6 foot down. But here, that's grass. Above it, it's about 1.5 foot, almost 2 foot of grass. And the fish are kind of, when it gets cold like this, oftentimes, especially on this lake or some other ones that are like it, they'll bury themselves right up inside that grass. There's one. Oh, he came off. Felt like an okay fish. That's not what we want. That's a pickerel. Whoop. This is going to be fun.
So the fish are still biting, even though it's going to be cold. The other challenge is tomorrow, even with the winds, it's going to be 40-ish, 45 to 50 degrees at most. So it's going to be a challenge. So I got myself some hand warmers, and I've got myself some cold weather gloves, and hopefully I can stay dry. It's going to be a challenge tomorrow. But the goal tomorrow, get a limit, and then let's move on. Focus on, or don't worry about whether we can win the trail series tomorrow. Worry about trying to win the trail series on. We're doing well enough to compete on Sunday, but staying in the 10 Invitational. I can't win the tournament tomorrow. It can't be done, but I can lose it, and I don't want to. So hopefully, a decision is made, and if we have to reschedule or if they cancel, it's okay. I think safety is a top concern. We don't want. I think there's probably 120 people competing. We don't want anybody to be in danger. So hopefully they'll make a decision on that, and if we are going to fish it, then hopefully, the winds just aren't as bad or don't affect the lakes as much and are a little bit higher and not so low. But we'll see. It's going to be a grind either way, and hopefully we can come out with a bag. My goal is just to get a limit tomorrow, and hopefully that's it. So, also the other thing I want to add in is. Since I'm doing the KFL and some other things, to make things more cohesive for our sponsors to be able to kind of point to me or me be able to point to sponsors and kind of keep things in line. I know I had an Instagram and this channel kind of have separate names, and I've messed around with them once or twice, but I think it makes more sense for the sponsors, especially for the KFL guys or the KFL team, if everything was just cohesive and made sense. I made the Bass in Orlando name for this channel a long time ago, and I think we're going to update it and leave it where it's finally going to be, which is just going to be T Woodring Fishing, both for this and my Instagram. It's just, again, so I can easily point to the sponsors and they can kind of point back to me, and it there's more of a correlation between me, this channel, and the Instagram for those people. It just looks, I think, a little bit more professional, and I think it'll help out a little bit, at least for them. So you're going to see the stuff change, same content, but the name's going to change just for cohesiveness between both this and the Instagram. Again, for most of the people that are sponsoring us for the KFL this upcoming season. But with that being said, if you're fishing tomorrow, hopefully everybody's safe. If you're going out tomorrow, stay safe. And, for the next few weeks, there's some big tournaments and stuff going on. So if you're fishing any of those, be safe. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.